Hello and welcome to Topham Chats. This week my guest yet again is McDom. Hey man, how's it going?
It's going alright, Topham. How are things?
Yeah, I'm doing alright. I'm kind of just overwhelmed by the amount of things that I've got to do just in general, at work, at home, and it's just kind of just making me go a little bit crazy. And as such, I'm just like, I've got to get this done, got to get that done, and I might be losing my mind a little bit.
Yeah, no, I got that feeling. I had a very similar week last week, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
and it passes. It passes.
Yeah, another thing that's not helping is oh my god, I've started playing Dark Souls 3, so I'm like, I want to play that.
Oh, you've got it. You've got it.
Obviously.
You bought it.
I did buy it. I was going to buy it today, but I bought it on Saturday morning when I woke up at 6:45, and I was like, it's 6:45 on a Saturday morning. What am I going to do for the next 6 hours? The answer was go get my hair cut and then play Dark Souls. So, yeah. But I finally got it, and I started playing as the class that I always like playing as, a sorcerer with a scimitar. And it's going okay. I'm not the best, but I'm understanding things. So the game's fundamentally changed from Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls 3, but it's not that different from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 3.
It's gone back to, it's basically, it feels like Dark Souls 1, but it's just a little bit faster.
Yes. Yeah, so...
It's not, because Dark Souls 2 was a hell of a lot faster and it felt a lot lighter. Was the thing?
Yes,
whereas Dark Souls 3 actually has weight again.
Yeah. And I find it nice as well, immediately one of the things I tried out was to parry and riposte. Parry and counter immediately, rather than parrying, letting your enemy fall to the floor, and then attacking them, which I always found weird because it left, a few, I don't know, a few points of a second where you were completely vulnerable and you had to wait for them to fall, finish the animation, then go and stab them. Whereas now it can be parry and stab, and like it was back in Dark Souls 1. And that makes me feel good because I was good at that.
Well, it's also good to the fact that now you can't do weapon swaps as well, because that was a big thing in Dark Souls 2 PvP. Mm-hmm. People would use that point whatever of a second to memorize exactly what the button presses they needed to swap from, say, a scimitar to the demon great hammer and just absolutely fuck your face in. Yeah,
because that just changed so much. And it was kind of, one of those weird things that's just, I don't know, just difficult. What I'm finding difficult at the moment is trying to get the spell timings down, because the heavy soul arrow, which is the best spell I've got, is slow. And trying to figure out, that enemy's that far away, I've got this much time, as long as they run in a relatively straight line towards me, I'll be okay and I can get the spell off. But I'm still trying to learn that, whereas a soul arrow can just be ping straight off.
What class did you start as? You started sorcerer, did you?
I started as sorcerer, yeah, because they have all right dexterity as well, which is really good, because does dexterity boost spellcast speed?
No.
I know that it did in Dark Souls 1. So
it doesn't anymore. Spellcast speed is done by. Well, I don't know actually. No, I don't think it does, because I think it's now done by attunement. Because attunement now is much more in what's it called?
Yeah, it's not just for spell slots. It's for other things.
Yeah, it's for and also the spell slots as well. Because it used to be 2, I think, into attunement was a spell slot, and now it's at least 4.
Yeah, the spell slots were at weird intervals. I know that you got them, had 4 by the time you were level 20, and then they were, spaced out at, 6 and 8, and different values apart, and it became difficult to use. But, yeah, like I said, the game's changed, and it's a process at the moment of learning it. I got to the first main boss, I'd say. So you fight that boss at the bonfire, the first bio, Aurek, something or other.
Udix Gundyr.
That's the one. And so he wasn't particularly a challenge. That was a nice introductory fight, but I'm staying at distance and I'm not finding it too much of a challenge. Up close, I can imagine it wasn't particularly easy because he has a wild moveset.
He wasn't horrible up close, but me, Cal, and Emma, also known as Beat Bep, did the stupid thing, and we decided to go, what's the name of the guy who has nothing aside from the fricking club?
Deprived?
Yeah, we went Deprived on our first run.
Okay.
Fighting him as Deprived is not easy.
No, I can imagine.
It took Emma about 20 tries. It took me about 7 or 8, and Cal managed to do it on his first try, the lucky bugger.
Yeah,
but,
I nearly
did it.
beat
I've
him
done
on
it
my first
again
try.
as warrior, and I've done it again as a sorcerer, and both times I got it first time. It's not a hard fight. It's just doing it as an underpowered character is very fucking difficult.
Yeah, so I did it as my sorcerer. I did it on my third attempt. First attempt, I went in, took him down to less than half health, and then he changes, which I wasn't aware of. And then he gets like some insane range and can move very quickly, and I wasn't prepared for that. And then second one, I was just like, I've got to recover those souls because I beat the crystal lizard as well before I'd got there.
Ooh.
So I cheesed it. I rolled out the way as it was rolling towards me, and it went off the cliff. So.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you can do that. I found out the easy way. I was like, I'm gonna roll! It's chasing me. I was on my way to the first bonfire.
Yeah, the problem with that thing is because I took it out first time with the warrior, tried doing it again as the sorcerer, and because the crystal lizards are stupid resistant to magic.
Yes, they
like
are.
Sorceries. So it's like, well, shit, this soul arrow, my heavy soul arrow, does 10 damage.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. You have 1,000 health. Wow. That's not going to end well, is it? And then, of course, you start with the Poxy-ass dagger as well, which is useless. So, but because I've been running through Dark Souls 3 with, I'm running through as a warrior build, which I'm recording on YouTube. And I'm not letting anything else get past that. I'm continuing with the deprived build, which has kind of become the pyromancer / straight sword guy.
Okay.
And then I'm also doing the one which has fallen off a bit has been the sorcerer one, but I was using the Uchi-Katana with that.
Okay.
It's a good weapon again, because in 2 it wasn't that great. In 1 it was absolutely overpowered as shit.
It was amazing. It had bleed damage and everything.
Yeah, 3 it's good, but it wasn't. It's a nice happy medium between being stupid overpowered and then being just kind of another sort of weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I went to what's the big dog-like boss guy that breathes freezing stuff? Yeah.
Vort of the Boreal Valley or whatever his name is.
That's the one.
Yeah, you were saying about like double, like Udix Gundy gets like the massive thing which happens at the midpoint and changes. Vort also gets it, as does almost every other boss in this game. I think I've only come across one boss so far which doesn't have a second form.
Yeah, like that boss fight took me a while to get past because he gets like an insane speed boost. He is so fast. Like, luckily, you can roll and be invincible for, like, quite a significant amount of time during that dive roll. And, like, that's fine. That saved me a lot because I started understanding how it worked, but I got killed quite a few times because I was being too greedy with my spell.
Yeah, doing him as a spellcaster is not easy because he's so fast. Like, you can get him down to the second form very easily as a spellcaster because he kind of just crawls towards you. Yeah. As soon as he goes berserk, I just switched over to the straight sword at that point and just go at him.
Yeah. So. Cool. Okay, so far I've beaten Vort. Oh my god, I forget his name so quickly. Vort. I've beaten him, and then I've gone through to the next area where I've eventually got through to where there's a boss there, who's a big tree, and that's fun. That's a weird boss fight.
Yeah, have you figured out how to kill him yet?
No, because I only got him to the second phase once, but I've only tried 3 times, so it's a bit weird because I went in, killed everything, and then started trying to attack the boss, only to find out I've run out of mana, or well, I could have a potion thing, and then it transformed me to the second part of the game because nothing comes in if you kill everything on the floor.
No,
whereas if he kills things,
they keep on dropping in.
Now. What I found was when I did it I was just focusing on him, like I killed all the enemies around, and then just focused on him. I didn't see anything, but I think that's because I did so much damage to him in such a short amount of time.
It also depends on what you do to him because he has each time like in his first form or second form, he has 3 weak points. But to get him to the second form, if you destroy the very obvious weak point, he goes instantly to a second form.
Okay.
So when he's in the second form, nothing drops. But in the first form, shit drops. So, yeah, there's obviously you're obviously attacking his bollocks.
Yes.
There's a bit on his hand, on his left hand, and then there's also a bit on his left leg, like on his shin, which you can go at. And then when he drops down, there's his front again, there's his back, and then there's kind of like underneath his right leg you can go for.
Oh, okay. And then he crawls out, and it's just weird.
Yeah,
it's
there's
like,
the arm. Yeah, but he's I hate to break your bubble there, mate, but that isn't progression. That's actually an optional boss.
Oh, really?
You're going the wrong way.
Good. Good. I'm glad because that
gives
was a
you
pain in the ass.
Yeah, he gives you the ability to make boss weapons, basically.
Oh, okay. So it's probably worth it to try. And
Oh
get
no,
him
it's
done
worth
later in the
doing.
game.
But he gives you the item which lets you get boss souls, make boss souls into weapons.
Okay, so that's a thing that I'd probably do later in the game because right now, I don't know what level I'm at. I'm probably level 15 or 16 at this point because I've not been playing smart. I've been playing. Let's run through areas and try and get them mapped out. And if I die, I don't really care. I'll play with 0 souls for like an hour or so, just trying to figure out the areas.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the way I play Dark Souls. And then I'll be like, okay, right, I'm going to take all the enemies out and see what other fun stuff's around. And then that is where I start, like... So I get really good at, like, memorizing the areas I'm working in. And then I slowly, like, build up my actual ability against the enemies. So I know, oh, I can jump off this platform and this will take me to this certain area where I know there's no enemies, or I know there's a bunch of enemies down there. I don't want to go off there strictly. And so I've not put that many hours into it. I've probably put 4 or 5 hours into it. So, yeah. And the I found... Okay, so here's a little aside. Usually, in the games, you'll, like, turn up to a place and then you'll walk off to an area, right?
Yeah, you don't like the warping.
I got to Firelink Shrine. I walked around trying to find a way to walk to another area for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, because I could not figure out that you needed to teleport to the next area.
Yeah, standard Dark Souls doesn't tell you where the fuck to go.
Yeah, the problem
great.
is, it wasn't that there's just not a path. There's just not a path to follow, which has been fine in the other games. It's been like, oh, I can go either way I want, which is fine, because in one way, on Dark Souls 2, you went to the round platform with the dragon halberd guy.
Yeah, you could go. Well, you could go a few directions in the Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, and then you can
but
go
yeah,
down
unlike Dark Souls 1, it was like, yeah, you kill the Asylum Demon, then you get picked up by the crow. Saying that though, that's not 100% intuitive because I remember when we had Dan doing Dark Souls 1. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, we were probably, Kel was being annoying and I was trolling him, and it wasn't doing great. It didn't give him a good experience, but he killed the Asylum Demon.
Yeah,
and then he couldn't figure out how to get out of the asylum. Because he didn't realise that the other door can open, because it doesn't automatically open. You have to walk up to it and open it.
Yeah, you get a key drop, so it's not if you're like, just spam A to get past.
Yeah, which is what Dan was doing. Yeah,
yeah.
I will admit, because Cal and Beep were confused about it when they did it, because I knew going in that's how you got out of the area. So I had to tell them because Beep twitched her first couple of hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, guys, you need to warp out of the bonfire. That's how you get out of here.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
It's weird, but I'm glad that warping has come back. There's a few things which they've kept over from Dark Souls 2, which I am glad of.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can warp from any bonfire is very nice.
Yes.
And for the fact it's now got a hub area instead of just because in Dark Souls 1 there was no reason to go back to Firelink except for... So you went down one path entirely, then you went back to Firelink, and then went down another path entirely, and then went back to Firelink.
Yes.
Whereas this, you're going back and forth consistently.
Which is very reminiscent of Demon Souls' Nexus.
It is. It is.
So yeah, it's nice that they're taking elements from that game as well. But it's an area that worked very well actually for Demon Souls.
It works well in Dark Souls 2 as well because there's a lot more. I get the feeling there's a lot more quest lines and stuff in this one. So whenever you go back to Firelink, make sure you talk to everybody, except for Andre, because Andre just doesn't say anything. He's just kind of there.
He's just your blacksmith.
He's just fan service, pure and simple. He's just there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't got a story or anything. He's just like, yeah, make weapons. I'll get.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that I've got an Estus Flask shard, and I keep forgetting that I need to use it.
At one point, I had 3 Estus Flash shards and 2 Ashen Bone, or whatever they're called. Mm-hmm. So once I actually gave them in, I was like, oh yeah, I got 3 Estus Flasks, which are now +2 instead of just being, normal Estus Flasks.
Yeah.
So useful.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. It's certainly entertaining me. And I've not really picked up on any of the story just yet, but I definitely will get there. But I'm still trying to avoid a whole load of things right now because I don't really want to know what happens. I don't want to know what's coming up. And
Do that.
That's
Do
the
not.
way I play Dark Souls as well. I'll be like, yeah. Dark Souls 2 kind of was weird for me, as much as I got quite far in it, I think. And I can't even remember much about the game.
You never finished it. You said this
No, I got like 2 of the 4 Lord Souls. That doesn't sound right.
That's not even a quarter of the way through.
Really?
Yeah, because as soon as you get the 4th, once you get all 4 of the Lord Souls, you're about halfway through the game.
Oh my god.
It's a much longer game than Dark Souls 2 was, and that's not including Dark Souls 1 was, and that's not including DLC. The DLC, because there's 3 packs, is about the DLC itself takes me about as long as a run through of Dark Souls 1 does.
Dark Souls 1 on this point probably takes me about 8 to 10 hours to go through.
Yeah. The DLCs are a good 3-hour chunk each.
No.
Plus the fact they're difficult. They've only got 3 bosses each in Dark Souls 2, the DLC. But some of those bosses are they're bad. They're not badly designed. They're incredibly well designed. But there's one especially which will take you at least 10 attempts.
Yeah.
And I've fought him. I've beaten him 12 times. It takes me at least 8 or 10 attempts to get used to him again. Yeah.
I think one of the problems with Dark Souls 2 that I had was that there were too many bosses that weren't even necessary. And so you'd run into a boss I'm making progress, and then no progress was made that day.
Yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I think Dark Souls 3 suffers from a bit of the other problem, to be honest.
There's not enough bosses, right?
Yeah, it's a lot more. There's a lot longer stretches now.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm now, about 13 hours into the game. I fought 6 bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got rid of the first lord or whatever it is. I've killed the first lot. And I've killed one other boss after that. Yeah, I think I'm on 6 or 7 bosses.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm 13, 14 hours in. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to playing it more, and I can't wait to see where it goes and what kind of develops out of it as well. I just want to find someone that can offer me sorceries. Okay, so the last thing I think I'll touch on is that you get through the first area, you've gone beaten Vort, and then you've gone down the place, and you get transported by the demons that are in Dark Souls 1. They're just hee with the wings and the scary faces.
Yep, haven't seen them again. Aside from when they teleported you, haven't seen them since.
Yeah. And then you go
was 10 hours ago.
down the bridge. And there's enemies that fight one another, which is rare in and of itself of Dark Souls. It's now something that happens, which is cool. Enemies fight one another. The only thing I can remember from Dark Souls 1 was the fact that the dragon would kill the things that were on the bridge. Now there's dogs attacking the I can't remember the word that I want to use. The hollows, basically, specifically, and that happens with relative frequency. That they're aggressive to one another, and that doesn't go well for the hollows, really. But then at the end of the bridge, there's a character that you meet, Yol, I think.
Yes, Yol.
And he's I can offer you things. And I'm so suspicious of him. I'm so suspicious. He's offering me a level up for free, and that's not the way Dark Souls works. There's got to be something in relation to that.
He gives you 5, actually, in total.
Oh, does he?
He gives you 5 free level ups.
Okay. Well, I'm
have you
probably
taken
not going
one?
to take... No, I'm not. I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not going to. I'm going to avoid it until I either A, have to, or B, I'm running a second character that I can get him with. Because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. But
he's got sorceries for you, but he's not the main sorcery vendor.
That's why I started speaking to him. He's I have sorceries. I'm
He does. He hasn't got many. The main sorcery vendor, which I haven't actually speaking to, because with my sorcery character I haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
And with my other characters, I'm not interested, basically.
Yeah.
He is tucked away really fucking well.
Yeah.
Annoyingly well.
Uh-huh.
So if you get... I'm honestly going to have to give you a hint because you're not going to find it otherwise. He's in the area with the crabs. He's somewhere in that area.
I haven't met any crabs yet.
Yeah. You haven't got that far yet. I know exactly where you are. You're probably about half an hour from meeting him if you... Well, actually, no, at your pace, you're probably about 15 minutes from meeting him. But
I've gone
yeah.
through I don't know, like, I felt like I ran a different bunch of places, and I've only found one way to go. And I think there's a path that takes me somewhere that I'm going to go and explore, but I'm not sure. I'm having a problem with, like, the big environmental things as well. Like, there's a spot just before the boss I was talking about, the tree boss, where you see an arrow come in and kill a bunch of things, and then you've got to run past there, and then you try to run past, and there's like 6 enemies in either way trying to stop you progressing, and you'll get hit by the bolt when it comes in. I'm just like, oh, that bit's really tough. But it's just a case of I'm trying to run into them. I just end up, if they're swinging towards me, I'll just roll into them and it'll stagger them. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I can just roll away afterwards. But
There is a way to make that easier, that bit.
yeah, is it to like go to where the bolts are firing from and just like,
You need to,
stab
yeah. There's a way near where you are, which is probably the place you're saying, oh, I think this is a path.
Yeah.
Somewhere probably there, if I'm thinking where you're at.
Yeah.
That's where the guy's shooting his arrows from. That big tower is where he's shooting them from.
Yeah, I thought so. I think that's my next mission. Actually, I'm probably going to record Dark Souls 3 for this, so I'm probably going to be running to try and find it.
To be fair, you're going to find him pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but,
it's a big tower.
Yeah, he's also quite a big lad.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
I will take my time and play carefully. Yeah, but anyway, that was our Dark Souls 3 chat. We'll probably talk more about it in the future. Shocking. So, Dom, where can we find you across the internet?
I am McDom on most things, so that'll be... Actually, no, I'm McDom on Rooster Teeth, and I'm McDom McDom on Steam. Yeah. I'm McDom023k, that's the Twitter, and on the YouTubes.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much again for being my guest.
It's all right, Topham, anytime.
Wicked. And yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.